Ladies and gentlemen, this is Super ACH, and you're listening to Sports Guys Talking Wrestling.
When they're not covering the sports world, they're talking about the world of professional wrestling.
It's Sports Guys Talking Wrestling.
Now, with Justin Simmons, here's Stu Myrick.
Sports Guys Talking Wrestling on the Horn. Stu Myrick, Justin the Smash Simmons. Are you ready to climb the corporate ladder?
Does that mean we have more sponsors?
I wish it did. By the way,
okay.
if you'd like to sponsor this fine show, contact us, sportsguystalkingwrestling@gmail.com. We'll make it worth your while.
Is it sad to say is like this is the first show, correct me if I'm wrong, this is the first show of May for us?
This is the first show of May, yes.
This is like the time of the year that we get excited about going to the Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame. We would only be, a couple of weeks out?
Yeah, I know. It's
sad.
It is sad. Yeah,
I mean,
we'd be getting ready. We'd have Cowboy Johnny Mantell on next week to, talk about what was going on. You and I are supposed to be hosting
that's
panels,
right. Well,
and hopefully that will still happen.
Yeah, but
in September.
But we didn't realize to what extent until I realized what extent it was going to be. And I was like, wow, that's cool. We're going to get to be like on stage and talk it
we're
through.
Supposed to be like the moderators.
Yeah, because there was two vastly different points we could look at it. And it was going to be, I thought, really interesting for almost all ages.
Well, for me, especially, because one of the panels I believe was supposed to be with Bobby Fulton from the Fantastics and Bushwhacker Luke of the Bushwhackers, a.k.a. the Sheep Herders. Mm-hmm. And they were going to talk about their feud Mid-South back in the day when they were still the Sheep Herders. They were dastardly heels. And I remember that feud vividly. And so for me, 15-year-old Stewie, the wrestling fan, was really excited about it. Because I saw that on TV. Saw it play out. So. That's true. But no, it won't happen. It'll happen in September. Hopefully we'll have those panels again, and we'll be there. So we'll just have to wait for it.
Well, I'm not the one that really covers a whole lot of football, so it should be all right.
I think I can find somebody to fill in whatever game like Travis has that Friday night. We usually get Jay Plotkin, who writes for the Statesman, to fill in for me if I'm the few times. Now I promise we'll talk wrestling. We'll talk Money in the Bank here in just a second. But so the Horn has been doing Lake Travis football since 2010. So this will be my and Mark Honig's 11th season.
Wow, that's pretty good
for
run.
The Cavaliers.
Good run.
And I can count the number of games I've missed on one hand.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me.
And I know at least two of those had to do with other commitments for the radio station. Usually it was Texas OU.
Oh, that's
so
right.
I would have to, be in Dallas for that.
Yeah.
So sometimes I'd have to miss. So anyway, and then there was the one where I missed for StarCast and All In weekend.
Oh, that's right.
In Chicago. As I was sitting at the hotel bar at the Hyatt Regency there in Schaumburg, watching Texas high school football on Fox Sports. I guess that would have been Fox Sports Midwest. Basically, they were just simulcasting what Fox Sports Southwest was doing.
Oh, really?
The Texas football days that they usually do. Mm-hmm. I'm trying to remember. It was a couple of 4A teams that were on. I can't remember who they were, and I'm just glued to it. And I've got Don Callis and the Scott D'Amore and the Impact Wrestling execs behind me, and I've got a couple of I think I remember seeing Cole Cabana walk by, and they're looking at me like I'm just silly. And here I am watching Texas high school football in Chicago. I said, "Well, yeah, usually I would be on one of those fields." So no Hall of Fame this month, but there is Money in the Bank, WWE Money in the Bank, this Sunday, 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Central, on the WWE Network. They are advertising a 1-hour pre-show starting at 6 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Central. We have not heard a pre-show match. I'm sure there will be one, but they haven't been announcing pre-show matches here lately.
I'm okay with that. It's not like anybody...
No, but yeah, it's not like they're going to worry about a crowd.
True. Not like they have to worry about crowd like filtering in for like the main show. Also, has there any...
Or for any part of the show, for that matter.
Ever since they've gone to this route of having a pre-show before the main event, so to speak. And this has happened in the past, but they've really tried to
make
this...
In the arenas. You're talking about in the arenas or during this empty arena?
Oh, no. Just
in general.
Just in general. I know that they've had like heats and other things that would precede previous pay-per-views.
They call
but now,
them so many names. Now they just call it kickoff show, I think.
But now every pay-per-view has it.
Yes.
Has there ever been anything that was advertised on a kickoff show that had made you want to tune in to that kickoff show?
Oh, of course not.
Right? I was just like, so it doesn't really matter that they didn't.
And even a few times we've been told the pre-show doesn't count. So
yeah.
So
I mean,
to mention how many times even when they are in arena where there's fans, they'll do they start the pre-show match about 20 minutes after they open the doors. So there's no crowd sitting down yet.
I mean, how many Andre the Giant Battle Royal winners do you recall?
Let's see. I know Big Show won it. I think he won the first one. Corbin's won it.
Did he?
Yeah, I think so.
See? Nobody really knows.
Braun Strowman won.
But was it an Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal win?
Andre won it, or Braun won it.
Because Cesaro won it
last year. Cesaro won it. Braun won it last year in New York. Remember they had the Michael Che and Colin Jost from Saturday Night Live?
No.
Okay, so that's
See?
Sad that in fact, I'm a
but
little
it kind of
ashamed
proves my point, though. I'm just like, I don't really remember.
I don't either. And that's okay. Now, there are reports out there. We usually try not to go through too many rumor innuendo reports, but there are reports out there that the Money in the Bank ladder matches have already been taped because they have and they pounded this. And this is something WWE really needs to find a way to not pound the same sentences 43 times during a show. The most unique Money in the Bank, where the risk is worth the reward. What's the other one they've been using?
Now, see, I understand where you're getting at with that point, but to their credit, you remembered those two taglines.
True.
Because they said it 40-something times.
Oh, God, yes, of course.
So it worked.
But that pounding those taglines isn't going to change my mind as to whether or not to watch.
I don't think,
or subscribe to the network.
I don't think those things are for us. I think
they're for the casual fan.
I think it's like a QV. Did you ever watch QVC?
Of course.
And you remember watching those people, the salespeople, kind of just
sadly
really hammer home their taglines.
I knew a couple people that worked for QVC. In fact.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting. But they would get on TV and they would hammer home those taglines, even when it didn't look like it was a great product.
Yeah.
And they did their best to make the sale.
So
they're doing the same thing with trying to capture, not us, because you might already still be paying for your subscription, but for people that aren't paying for the subscription yet.
Right. And don't get me wrong. It's a unique concept. I think it'll be fun. So if you have not heard, and if now maybe you haven't been watching WWE programming, the Money in the Bank ladder matches are going to happen at WWE corporate headquarters.
Again,
and they even showed Monday Night on Raw. They even took you on a tour as to they could end up in Vince's office. They could end up in the boardroom. They could end up in the cafeteria.
Wasn't that cool though?
It was kind of neat.
That was one of the last beacons that the WWE casual fan, the everyday fan, even the hardcore fan hasn't been able to see is Titan Towers.
Right, Titan Towers. Well, and it's kind of ironic because before the pandemic was supposed to happen, they were going to be moving.
I know,
they were moving
right?
out. They had a new facility being built. So this will be interesting. So
this is a nice send-off for Titan Towers.
So they will have the matches at Titan Towers at WWE corporate headquarters, and basically you start at the ground floor, which is kind of neat, seeing the Andre statue, and I assume Ultimate Warrior statue and Dusty statue are there as well. And you work your way up the building, stairs, elevator, however you choose, to the roof. On the roof there is a ring, and then above the ring are the Money in the Bank briefcases. Now here's the ironic thing. Both the men's and women's matches are going to happen simultaneously. So instead of the men's match and then the women's match or vice versa, they're both going on. So the 6 women and 6 men will be going at the same time.
Okay.
Which is kind of interesting. Also, from what has been reported, they will spread it out throughout the whole show. So it's not just, you're not just going to see just, those matches in its own little block of time. So you may have, say, like for instance, the SmackDown Women's Championship, Bayley Tamina. So you'll have that match, and then you'll see like a piece of.
So essentially, Money in the Bank is like a 24/7 concept match throughout the building until you get to the end game, which can happen at any time.
Right. Well, I suspect that he'll have it timed to where,
or as
you'll see the briefcases. Whoever grabs briefcases will be at the end.
Or in War Game speak, the match beyond.
That would be, I suspect that would be when everybody, when people get to
when
the
everybody
top.
gets into the ring,
that would be the match beyond.
But I'm just saying to get to that point,
right?
Because that's what's happening. They're battling from the outside in,
right?
Instead of just being entered into the cage,
right?
But yeah,
so. Now these matches, apparently the ladder matches have already been taped, and those have been taped like a couple weeks ago. However, the rest of the matches, and as of right now, outside of those the two ladder matches, we only know of 4 matches. Now, I suspect as the week goes on, especially with SmackDown on Friday night, we will find out maybe at least 1 or 2 more. But the rest of the matches will be live. So apparently they're going to do this live from the Performance Center in Orlando.
Interesting.
So,
but given the way that they're going to tape this thing, does that make you more inclined to watch?
Oh, sure.
Okay, so you are interested.
Absolutely. I'm interested in the concept. It always cracks me up when they have to pound that tagline 43 times.
Well, it's going to be unique.
It is going to be unique, absolutely. So here's the way the card looks. So you have a fatal 4-way match for the SmackDown Tag Team titles. It will be the New Day, Big E, Kofi Kingston, defending against the former champions, Miz and John Morrison. The Forgotten Sons, Wesley Blake and Steve Cutler, who came up from NXT. And Lindsay Dorado and Grand Metalik from Lucha House Party.
Is that still a faction?
Apparently so.
Because where's Kalisto?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't know where Kalisto is. But apparently they're still at least a tag team.
Gotcha.
So it will be those 4 teams in a fatal 4-way for the SmackDown Tag Team titles. I would be incredibly surprised if they take them off a New Day.
And it's proper tag teams, right? Like,
what do you mean?
Like, it's not like WrestleMania where it's just one person from those.
No, these are both
actual teams.
Both members of each team will be involved.
Gotcha.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Now I don't know if this is a tornado tag where everybody's in the ring, or if it's just a fatal 4-way and
regular
tag rules. Yeah. Okay. So again, I would be shocked because they just put the titles back on New Day for the 8th time. I should be surprised if their title reign ends now.
Let me pose this question to you, because everything is kind of on the fly right now. Mm-hmm. Most of the time, wrestling fans complain about the fact that it's too scripted, where in this case, everything's just kind of getting made up on the fly. What are the issues now? Is this is it just because there's not a happy medium? Is it because it doesn't have any semi-balance?
What do you mean? I'm not following.
The big
I mean,
argument.
is there a problem with this match? I don't have a problem.
No, not with the
Seems
match.
a little crowded. But,
No,
you
not
know.
not with the match itself, but with just the fact that it's like, oh, they're kind of seems like they're just making it up as they go. And most of the time, people are like, it's too scripted. We already know what the end game's going to be, and now we kind of don't have a clue because they have to put everything together on the fly. But yet, people are still complaining. So I'm just kind of like,
I think that you can, if you look at a match, and yeah, we may find out a match like last minute, but once you see who's in the match, based on historical trends with WWE booking, you can probably guess who's going to win. It was kind of like the gauntlet match on Monday Night Raw. Now, once the word got out that AJ Styles was coming back and that he was likely going to be in the gauntlet match, it was pretty obvious that, you know, with all due respect to Humberto Carrillo, who had a fantastic showing, he wasn't winning that match. It was going to be AJ Styles.
yeah, the WWE is so lucky right now to have him and Angel Garza. I mean, those two are going to be really good.
They are. They really are. So anyway, as I said, I'm picking New Day. You got a thought one way or the other, or?
I really don't have a thought yet because it does seem like they can give it back to Miz if he has something to promote, which he does.
Yeah, but then again, they just gave it to New Day, and I got a
It's
feeling.
just a belt
not to
too.
mention, let's not forget that the likely reason for the Forgotten Sons being there is because the Usos are out because
I can't remember which
Jimmy
one.
is hurt. I think he's supposed to be out like maybe 6 to 9 months.
But
I think knee injury or something like that.
But if the Miz has a show to promote, what does it matter? It's not
True.
it's not like the belt's super important.
True. As we mentioned, for the SmackDown Women's Championship, Bayley facing Tamina. And again, I'd be shocked if they're going to take it off Bayley because I would think they're going to build towards Bayley versus Sasha. And you can't do that if Tamina has the belt.
It makes me wonder what will happen if we can't have a proper SummerSlam, which things are pointing towards us not having a full capacity SummerSlam at any point.
It is possible.
So are they just trying to save the Sasha Bayley thing for a bigger moment? Because it just seems kind of like a waste of the storyline if they don't get the proper payoff.
It was kind of like the whole, Bobby Lashley and Lana, looking like they were going to finally start splitting, and then they kind of slowed that down. So, again, I seriously doubt Bayley drops the belt to Tamina. But, hey, Braun Strowman defends the Universal Championship against Bray Wyatt. Now, they have advertised this as Bray Wyatt, not The Fiend. So, it looks like we will get the sweater-wearing Firefly Funhouse Hi Kids Bray Wyatt.
So you're saying no shenanigans?
I'm not saying no shenanigans because there's always shenanigans when it comes to this.
I don't know. He doesn't have any family there anymore.
That's true.
Except for
and
his
in fact,
real-life brother.
That's what this is about, is Braun Strowman, former family member, turning his back on him. I've heard that they want to put the belt back on Bray so that they can eventually get to Roman.
Wait! Don't say
But-
that. Let's be honest. The reason they want to put the belt back on Bray is because they have a lot of those replica belts still in back stock that they got to sell.
Those $7,000 belts that they probably sold like 3.
How long did he have
And
the
I bet
title?
you I know one guy that knew him. How long did he have it?
Like a month?
No, he had a little longer than that.
It didn't seem like it.
He won it in Saudi
But
Arabia.
how
and
much
kept it
was that
until
belt? Was
the
it
next
really
Saudi Arabia. So
$7,000?
like 3 months.
Was it really a $7,000 belt? I thought it was like $32,000 or something like that.
No, it was $69.99 or something like that.
Okay.
Yeah,
Still, an
Yeah,
outrageous
$7
price for any
Yeah.
belt collector out there.
yeah. I don't care who you are.
And no disrespect to the belt collectors, but I still don't get it.
I don't either. So anyway,
You can't wear it
no.
at any other time.
I'm gonna go with Braun just because I don't want.
Let's go Bray.
You can go Bray. I'm gonna
All
go
right.
Braun. I don't want to see Bray anywhere near your title. Drew McIntyre will
Well,
defend.
wait. They're not talking about The Fiend. They're just talking about Bray Wyatt.
I don't care. Either way. Drew McIntyre defends the WWE Championship against the Monday Night Messiah, Seth Rollins. You imagine Murphy, his buddy Murphy, see what I did there?
Yeah.
Will be lurking around ringside. Having said that, Drew's keeping the belt.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
We're finally getting The Drew being the chosen one.
You have to
That
give
McMahon wanted all those years ago on SmackDown.
You have to give him a run with the belt first to see if he can swim or
Absolutely.
see if he can fly. I'm not sure what the
and I
finish
like
of
Drew.
that is.
I think Drew's doing well so far. So yeah, Drew's keeping the belt. All right, so the 2 Money in the Bank. So women: Shayna Baszler, Nia Jax, Asuka, Dana Brooke, Lacey Evans, and Carmella. The men's Money in the Bank match: Daniel Bryan, Rey Mysterio, Aleister Black, King Corbin, Otis, and the aforementioned AJ Styles.
So out of those names that were mentioned, Carmella's the only one that's actually won it before. And
I believe so.
And then on the men's side, Baron Corbin. He's won it before.
Yes,
But he's the only one, right?
And he lost. Then he's one of the few that cashed in and lost.
Yes. But he won it. Carmella's won it, and she actually cashed in and won the title.
She cashed in and won. Yes,
but if we were looking at this as a true athletic competition, those two would have the advantage of prior experience.
You
correct?
would think, but again, that's not what we're looking.
I was giving you the old school '93 Jim Ross analysis there.
I know, it's that whole sport of professional wrestling.
Yes,
is it a sport or is it an art? I'm still sticking with Shayna Baszler. I think they.
And Asuka's not in this match?
Asuka is.
Oh, well, then she's the winner.
Yeah.
I don't care how good. Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I don't care how good Baszler is.
Right.
I mean, Asuka, I think, throughout this whole no fans thing, has shown that she is deeply, deeply charismatic without even speaking English.
I don't know if they meant to do this, but during Monday Night Raw, they had a promo for what was going to happen next week on Raw, and they actually said the Raw Women's Champion, the man Becky Lynch, will be on Raw to confront the Money in the Bank winner. Kind of gives away that it's going to be a Raw roster member, which means either Shayna Baszler, Nia Jax, or Asuka.
My money's on Asuka. If anything, I think she deserves it.
Wouldn't be far-fetched.
No, and I mean, it's a former champion. NXT's longest reigning champion before...
Who's winning the men's?
Ooh, that's a tough question.
I'm still sticking with Aleister Black.
You say Aleister Black.
He
has not impressed me as much as he has impressed other people. And I think it was that long
I love that black mask. I love that black mask out of nowhere.
I'm still not sold on the character just yet, because what's so different about the guy except for his entrance?
True.
And the tattoos. Like, I still need to see a little bit more character development.
Yeah.
With, like, what is he really all about besides looking for a fight? Because we've had a lot of characters that have just been looking for a fight in the past.
So who's your pick?
Most of the momentum's with Otis. I mean, he has the chick already. I mean, why not, go for broke?
So because Raw will win the women's, SmackDown will get the men's? Because we have a contender for Braun?
I mean, I don't see Braun holding on to the title. That's just it.
I know.
No, but really, who else is in that match that you said? I couldn't recall, really.
Daniel Bryan.
Oh, AJ
Rey
Styles.
Mysterio. AJ Styles. Aleister Black, King Corbin, and Otis.
Probably
AJ seems like a obvious pick, but I'm just going with my heart here. I'm going to go with Aleister. So
yeah, I think it could be AJ Styles, or it could legitimately be Baron Corbin again.
That is WWE Money in the Bank Sunday. This Sunday, 7 p.m., 6 p.m. Central on the WWE Network. We may do a watch along. You free on Sunday evening?
I'll have to see.
We may work out a watch along on YouTube. So stay tuned to our social media at SGTWATX on Twitter, at Sports Guys Talking Wrestling on Instagram, and we'll let you know. When we come back from this timeout, we've got WWE's version of The Last Dance. And some thoughts on Cody and Lance for the TNT Championship. All that and more coming up. You're listening to Sports Guys Talking Wrestling. And you're listening to The Horn.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Everybody!
This is the American Psycho Lance Hoyt, and you are listening to the Sports Guys Talking Wrestling.
Everybody
Sports Guys Talking Wrestling on the horn. Stu Meyer, Justin the Smash Simmons. Good Lord. That match with Lance and Dustin last week on AEW Dynamite. Oofa.
You know what's funny, Stu, about that? And there's usually not much funny about Lance Hoyt or Lance Archer in this case. But do you recall that time we were at TCW and he came up from behind us like after his match? And I was like, I was legitimately scared. I was like, one day the rest of the world, obviously Japan already knew, but and the people on the independent scene, but like the people on the national scene were going to see like how legitimately scary the guy could be.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
That's been his whole gimmick now, and it's really working out for him. It's great.
And the hairdo has helped him.
Oh yeah, definitely. Very unique look.
I still remember the OS moment at G1 in Dallas when he came out with that hair, and I was like, oh my God, because we saw him on Friday. He had just his regular long mane, and then Saturday night, boom, the Murder Hawk was born. Wow!
And this is all because he's come back from that long layoff after the back injury.
After back injury,
so that's good that he's been able to have like this bounce.
I mean, we kid, but actually, we're thrilled for Lance. Thrilled for Dustin. We know Lance has worked tirelessly for this, so now it will be Lance Archer and Cody Rhodes to determine the first TNT champion at AEW Double or Nothing later this month. That'll be an interesting match because you not only get the title on the line, but you have this issue between Cody and Lance, or I should say Jake the Snake Roberts. So I get the feeling they're going to put the title on Lance, but I don't know.
There is a good possibility, but I think Cody said on Twitter that he does honor the fact that he can never compete for the world title.
Right.
So this might be the only title that he gets.
And that's why I'm not 100% on Lance winning.
And while I understand that you want to build up a brand new character like Lance to a national audience, I think it's time for like the guy who created
to get a little love, get a little gold.
Yeah, and use his name power and his popularity to kind of help propel that title and make it legitimate.
True. I know that he understands how fans and look, we've said countless times on this show, we love wrestling fans. They're passionate. They let their voice be heard, but there are times when their voice can be a little misguided. Can we say?
Yeah.
And I know he is cognizant of the comparisons to, say, Jeff Jarrett when he was in TNA with TNA, booking himself to be champion. There's Vern Gagne did it forever.
Well, we don't even have to talk about those two people. All we have to do is talk about his dad.
Dusty.
Yeah. When he saw that business needed a little bump, he felt that he needed to hold the belt, and rightly or wrongly.
But here's the difference.
And I respect that, though.
Yeah, I respect that, but I think A, it was a different time. B, Rick was going to get it back. We knew that. Yeah,
but see, Cody's Cody.
Yeah, Cody is Cody.
And it's going to help.
You're right.
And he can put shine on it, and it doesn't hurt his character to lose.
True.
So, and the other thing is,
there's always the thing about the money's in the chase too. So
yes, but we talk about fans and rating the ratings on Wednesday night, the Wednesday Night Wars. But in actuality, it's just one AEW show, the only weekly show that they have, going against just one
NXT.
Random WWE show.
Right, which is
that
NXT.
They randomly took from developmental and hastefully tagged it as a third brand, right?
And they've put Charlotte Flair as their women's champion to boot. So,
but what I'm saying is, the last times I saw the numbers, it was like 672,000 people tuned into AEW, 620,000 tuned into.
Yeah, it's kind of close.
So what that tells me though is that yes, you have your strong base, but you need to extend to the casual viewer, and Cody has a lot of name recognition.
True.
And he had those Arrow appearances. He does the Comic-Con route.
Yep.
Not everybody necessarily is a pro wrestling fan, but they might recall him
Yeah,
and might tune in to see what happens next.
that's true. That's all. I totally agree.
No, and that's no insult to Lance, because obviously he's ready for a moment like this at a national stage.
Yeah.
But it just seems like the smart move would be to put the belt on somebody at first that has a marquee name recognition.
It's possible.
Somebody that took their own money and put 10,000 pounds in the seats.
That's kind of why they put the world title on Chris Jericho.
And it makes perfect sense, though.
Which, by the way, how good is Chris Jericho?
He's the best.
This bubbly bunch thing and the flim flam. I mean, just and he being on commentary with Schiavone, aka Tony Schiavone, has just been fantastic.
No, Jericho's a treasure.
Oh, he is a treasure. So, WWE Network has what amounts to their version of The Last Dance. Those you don't know, The Last Dance is the 10-part docu-series on ESPN chronicling the final season of Jordan with the Bulls, the 97-98 season, the leading up to the winning the title, the second of the three-peats. So, well, WWE has its own version. Undertaker, The Last Ride. And we saw a preview of this during WrestleMania. Well, they have since come out. They posted about a 2-minute trailer on YouTube, which looked fantastic. And they've come out with some information about it. It's going to be a 5-part kind of docu-series, documentary series. It will start this Sunday, following Money in the Bank with Chapter 1. And their description of the series says it will cover 3 years in the career of the Phenom. It reveals the journey starts at what was supposed to be the end of the road for the dead man, his 2017 loss to Roman Reigns at WrestleMania 33. That was in Orlando. So the 5 chapters, as I said, Chapter 1 will be this Sunday after Money in the Bank. The rest of them will be available on demand. Chapter 2 next Sunday. Chapter 3 will be Sunday, May 24th. That's Memorial Day weekend. Chapter 4 will be June 14th. And Chapter 5, June 21st. All the other 4 will be available on demand starting at 10 a.m. Eastern, 9 a.m. Central on those days. So, again, this is looking at, the Phenom, the one of the absolute icons of WWE, and his journey that started in 2017. That match that I was in that stadium, and I, along with the 60, 70,000 others, in shock and almost in tears, seeing him laying down his coat and his hat and his gloves. And it also kind of begs the question, was the Graveyard match, was that his swan song? Was that his final match with AJ?
I have no clue.
Well, that's the thing.
And it
it's pro wrestling. You never say never.
But it doesn't seem like he would be the type of guy that would go out on top.
You're right. And that's another thing.
It's just not part of the wrestler code.
Right. It's, the tradition is you do the honors for somebody else.
Yeah, you lose on the way out. That's how it's done. And think about it. Even though he did lose the streak, a win over The Undertaker for some young guy is still massive credibility.
Oh, it's huge. It's huge.
So I think if the payment is right, you could get another match out of him. Now, will it be shot the same way? I'm not sure. That's
the thing, because a lot of people have said, okay, let's just have Undertaker and cinematic matches. Because A, it would be easier on him. B, you can shoot it to where he looks good. And C, it kind of opens up the possibilities. For the longest time, what's the one match that everybody has cried for? Undertaker Sting.
Oh,
and that's a match that if you shoot a cinematic match, that's a match that Sting could do, given his neck problems,
I see what you're saying, but this is where I differ because it's like, I have no interest in seeing that. But I understand where a fan that's like a little bit older than myself would be like, oh yeah, that's what we were waiting for and we never got it.
You know, here and it's kind of the funny thing. 10 years ago, but main event WrestleMania, period. Now, I don't know.
I mean, they're
because
both,
I do
what,
want.
in their
I
50s?
want. Well, yeah, they're both. I think Sting. It might be maybe about 2 years older than Undertaker.
And the neck problems.
Because Stinger's 56, 57, and Undertaker's 53, 54, something like that. But still.
That and the reason why I probably don't care as much is because I've never been a fan of Crow Sting. And again, that's no disrespect. Obviously, it was a great gimmick for him, and he made a lot of money off of it. I just always been a fan of Surfer Sting.
Me too. That's the one I grew up on.
And that would make it more fun for him to go through the funhouse and have to dress up as Surfer Sting.
No, I do not want to see Sting anywhere near. Kind of like Sting, like any world title. I don't want any of them near Bray Wyatt. No. So, anyway, yeah. So it's, as I said, fans will get a rare glimpse into what led up to the moment. The pressure he puts on himself each year, getting ready for WWE's annual pop culture extravaganza, and much more.
Okay, so it's kind of like The Last Ride, but not necessarily exactly like it because they had like this whole documentary shot like 20 years ago that they just never aired, right?
Talking about the
Jordan.
Yeah, the Jordan, the Last Dance. Yeah.
So The Last Ride necessarily isn't that. It's more like a look into those final moments of getting ready for those what should have been the last match.
It's just drawing comparisons just because of the timing.
Oh, okay.
You know, and The Last Ride, The Last Dance, you know, that type of thing. Anyway, look, it's still going to be fantastic. Look, Chad Hastings from Shirts and Skins, when he saw that clip, and I sent him the tweet, and he's all over it. You know, he's just huge on this. So anyway, it'll be good. I'm sure a lot of people will be looking forward to that. One other thing, our good friend ACH, you heard him at the top of the show. He did his first post-WWE interview with our man Evangelistico and the Submission Squad. They do a podcast called Submission Squad Presents Dollar Menu Mid-Carders. So ACH was on that one. A lot of good insight and a lot of opening up about how he feels. I mean, and he fully admits he messed up with all the social media outbursts and stuff. He doesn't apologize for what he said about that T-shirt.
Oh, I understand that. Like I said, he was more than valid criticism.
But he does recognize that he handled some of the other stuff wrong, and he feels bad for it. It really sounded like a true kind of coming to terms with, wow, he's realizing what that cost him. And look, we've been fans of him forever and ever. He's been part of our show. One of my favorite pictures is the two of us and our good friend Jeff Howe, who used to be with us.
I mean, I worked
and
out
ACH.
with the guy.
You worked out with
in
ACH?
the ring. I've worked out with this guy before. And I remember meeting him, always being like, this was his dream. He was going to be the one. He just had the talent. Mm-hmm. You know, when just you walk into certain situations and you're like, oh, that's the person. That person's going to be great. Same thing when I saw like Carson and Barbie walk into the thing. I was like, oh, they really want it. They're going to be great at this if they keep it up. And they had successful careers. But ACH is pretty much the same deal where it's like, obviously, you can't question the work ethic or the ability in the ring and the way he talks. It's all there. The package is there. I don't think this is going to be a thing that will blackball him from WWE in the future because they've brought back other talents. It
definitely will blackball him from wrestling. That's for sure.
Oh, no, it definitely won't.
I know AEW still uses him. Inspire, we've used him. You know, we had him on that last show we had before the pandemic.
But I mean, this is a guy that's already worked in Ring of Honor.
Yeah, he worked in New Japan and Noah.
Yeah, so I can easily see him taking another tour of Japan.
Easily
working in Ring of Honor again at some point if cooler heads prevail, because, you know, like he said, he's changed over time now, starting to acknowledge his faults, and maybe he's easier to work with now in certain situations that he wouldn't have been in the past. maybe Impact, just because they can use another boost
Why not?
of talent as well, because they seem to be on a nice rebuild.
Yeah, they are. Anyway, check that out. Submission Squad presents Dollar Menu Mid-Carders, Evangelisco, and ACH. Really good. It's about a 2-hour interview, but it's well worth it. So we've got more coming up. Ring of Honor canceling some more events, and the sequel we've all been waiting for coming up next. Sports Guys Talking Wrestling on the Horn.
This is the voice of Ring of Honor, Ian Riccaboni, and you're listening to Sports Guys Talking Wrestling.
Sports Guys Talking Wrestling on the Horn. Stu Myrick, Justin Smash Simmons. As we are taping this on Tuesday,
On a Tuesday.
and we've had, so this is May 3rd, Sunday was Bullet Club Day. Mm-hmm. Shout out to Tamatanga, Tangaloa, the rest of the Bullet Club. Shout out to them. By the way, trade a couple messages with Tamatanga. He's got a new podcast.
Nice.
Thomas Island. Check it out.
And since March 2nd was like The Rock's birthday, or
That's
May
right.
2nd.
May 2nd. May 4th, of course. Star Wars Day. May the 4th be with you. And Tuesday, Cinco de Mayo.
Yes.
And you have a list.
Yes. The day on which the Mexican, a small Mexican army was able to hold off what was once a very powerful French army in the town of Hidalgo. Very nicely done on their part. Not necessarily celebrate it throughout the whole country of Mexico, but I figured for this occasion, it would be nice to kind of think about our friends south of the border, and and since they have a long and illustrious lineage when it comes to the history of professional wrestling, that we kind of give them a little shout out and give you a quick smash 5 on Cinco de Mayo of
a Cinco de Smasho.
Ooh, nice. Of what we should do. I like what you did there.
Copyright trademark. Stu Myrick Entertainment.
Of what we did there. I like what you did there. What I put together here. I just, if you're at home, still kind of sitting in quarantine and stuff, maybe not out and about, look these guys up on YouTube and you'll be, I think, happy and surprised. Obviously, you have to watch El Santo, the original. You might not get to see any original matches, but he had a lot of movies, and you'll get to see his wrestling in those movies. And I think even in the movies, you can see what made him special.
Right.
And not just him, you also have to take Blue Demon, not just the son. Obviously, both of these having offspring that ended up being great luchadors, but Blue Demon, also one of those pillars of Mexican luchador wrestling, who may not get as much credit as El Santo, but definitely right up there.
Blue Demon Jr. Met him at Colorfly Alley Club, former NWA World Heavyweight Champion.
Yes, exactly.
Among other honors.
Also managed by our friend Carmen Despirito when he's
right.
in the United States.
That's right.
One of the most influential, and I've heard conflicting stories, obviously, about his character in the locker room, but those I can't say anything. I never met the man, but Mil Mascaras being the first masked wrestler to be allowed in Madison Square Garden. I mean, enough said right there. Yep. He didn't have to accomplish anything else, just do that. But to be a true heavyweight luchador in that time period during the 70s, I can still think about the strands of Sky High from Jigsaw coming out.
Yes.
Right. That's what it's called. That's his entrance music. But in Japan, just legendary star, big draw when he went over there in Perro Aguero.
That's right.
Probably one of the best heels in Mexican history.
Just passed away
less
than a year ago.
A few years ago now.
Yeah.
But he also has a son that continues the lineage. But I mean, those guys, I think those four really kind of are luchadors. If you've never really seen them, you never read about them, go back and kind of study about what they've done, because a lot of what you see now, somebody like Rey Mysterio, a lot of it derived from what he saw from like guys like his uncle and the guys that I talked about. I know I gave you a 5. I'm just going to mention Gory Guerrero, and he technically is Mexican American because he was born in Arizona.
Right.
But not only what he did in the ring, but to also have Eddie and his
the family.
The whole family, I think. While they started giving him credit here later on as the years went by, he didn't get enough credit leading up to the success that all those people had.
Ran El Paso during the territory days. So very good. I like that. Very cool. A couple other notes before we get out of here. Ring of Honor has canceled all their June events. Sadly, that includes events in Dallas and San Antonio, which I always love going to.
But was expected, unfortunately.
Yeah, I know. And it also means their Best in the World pay-per-view, which is in Baltimore every year.
Yeah.
That's always a really good pay-per-view. So
it lives up to its name most of the time.
It does. Anyway, so keep tuned to ROHWrestling.com. See when some of those may get rescheduled. But until then, we may try to get a couple more guys on. Need to talk to Jay Lethal soon. So maybe we'll try to get him. One other thing, I mentioned a sequel. So you remember, I guess, 2 months ago, it was right before the pandemic, when I had the utmost honor of calling a match between Stroke Daddy himself, Absolute Ricky Starks, and Broom.
Oh, you mean the former NWA television champion?
Former NWA television champion Ricky Starks taking on Broom. And Broom snuck one by him, stole the win from him. Well, he's getting a rematch, and he's called in some help. So it will be Stroke Daddy Ricky Starks and the Spanish God, Sammy Guevara. What do they call them? I think they're calling themselves the Stroke Gods, taking on Broom and the Mop.
Now, is this like the same Mop that had a fling with Perry Saturn?
This is like a distant cousin.
Okay.
Yes. So you can catch that on Sammy Guevara's YouTube channel. It's called the Clean Sweep Grudge Match. It will change your life.
You gotta watch out for that Broom and the Mop. I heard they're pretty crafty.
They are. They're pretty crafty.
If you don't look out, they might wipe the floor with you.
That's right. They're sweeping the nation. Any more puns?
I was trying to think of a couple.
I know, me too. So, anyway, check that out. Sammy Guevara's YouTube channel. It's a fun watch. So, before we go, we did decide we are going to do a live watch along on our YouTube channel for WWE Money in the Bank. Check us out on our YouTube channel this Sunday, 5:30 p.m. Central, and we will watch along with you as we see who climbs the corporate ladder. That'll do it for this week's Sports Guys Talking Wrestling. You can follow Justin the Smash Simmons on Twitter, Instagram, and Twitch at The Smash Simmons. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Stu Myrick. That's STEWMYRICK. You can follow the show on Twitter at SGTWATX. You can find us on Facebook and Instagram at Sports Guys Talking Wrestling. We are proud to be the official broadcast partner of the Professional Wrestling Hall of Fame, and we're proud to be part of the great lineup you hear every day. On the flagship station for the Texas Longhorns, we are The Horn. Catch us Wednesday nights, 9 p.m. Central on The Horn, or you can catch us anytime on demand by going to hornfm.com and click on the On Air tab, or by subscribing to us on your favorite podcast platform. For Justin, I'm Stu. Thank you for joining us, and we will see you when this pandemic is over at the matches.